Hey y'all, I just wanted to come in and talk about a few things that are happening around the world that we all should really be paying a little bit more close attention to instead of just like rah rah rahing behind America so great. So we've obviously done the Venezuelan thing. We're occupying their nation, and I want to do a thought process here with this. Let's say that you live in a home and you don't have much, but your neighbor has much. Is it okay to then go and steal what your neighbors have to benefit your own family? I don't think it is. What I think is maybe fortifying your own property and growing your own food and raising your own animals and creating your own electricity and doing all those things that a nation is supposed to do and a home is supposed to do. You don't steal. That's just not how it is. We've paid back with extra, according to the news, um, all the investments we've made in Venezuela. So the fact that we're there to take back what's ours is fabricated. And it's not okay. It's not okay to go and to steal someone else's something. There are better ways of doing things. Yes, I understand that things have been done this way in the past. The regime change is nothing new. I understand all of that. But isn't it 2026? Isn't it time to change the old ways? Okay. Isn't it time for a non interventionalist president to be non interventional? And to stop trying to control the world. That seems to be the goal here. And I as a citizen and a living human being with my rights given by God, disagree with all this. I completely disagree with all this. I am proud that the Venezuelan people are happy for now. I pray that they are not crushed under the same system that its own Americans' own people are being crushed under and taken over by. And it seems that that's where all the lines are pointing. That this is in our greatest allies' best interest. And let's talk about Paul Singer, who just recently was approved the purchase of Citgo, which if you go up a few businesses is owned by Venezuela and the Venezuelan people. And we are going in and we're just taking it. We're just taking it over. And is that okay? You should ask yourself that. That's something that you should think about. Is that okay to just go in and steal whatever it is that you want to take and control it all? Is that okay? Is that American first? Because I'm telling you right now, the B 2 bombers and the bunker busters, step one. Okay, we all know whose behalf that was on. Venezuela now, and from what I've read in the news, haven't confirmed or denied or denied this, that we have bombed multiple other countries and that our CAI in order is on ground, is arming and funding and training all of these people to who then we go to war with. And it is a tiring pattern. I'm just noticing. I'm sure a lot of you have also. So, you know, to think that none of this is going to come back on us is just ludicrous to me. Okay, we see what happened in Iraq. We see what happened in Afghanistan. We see what happened in Venezuela. Let me tell you something right now. Iran is none of those. Iran is much more dangerous. Iran is not something that we should be involved in. This is the first shoe. The second shoe will drop. I'm glad that people are happy and celebrating right now. And I'm sad the second shoe will and definitively will drop. It is just the administration that we live under. And in fact, I truly don't even believe it's the administration. I don't think the administration matters. I think the CAI is involved in all of this. And in every country that we've toppled, we have left worse off than before. The invasion of Venezuela is not going to make China happy. They get about 10% of their oil from Venezuela, which, yes, they can find different ways easily to supply the energy that they need for their vastly growing AI systems and all those things, and just their energy in general for the mass amount of people they have. Uh, they will find another way. But to now decide that this is our hemisphere, okay, not just our country, not just our nation, not just our people, but our hemisphere, when we cannot even take care of homelessness, get the Epstein files admitted by anyone in administration. We've got Dan Bongino coming back trying to pretend like he's the white knight and is going to tell us how it really is in there. And we've got Kash Patel continuously advertising his girlfriend's country music. Like, is this serious? Are we all serious right now? This is what we're dealing with. So until those things are solved, until the DOD starts to prosecute people, until Fauci is not still running the streets, until all these billionaire friends of our gov is held accountable, none of this actually matters because it's a distraction. All of these things are distractions, and we do not need them. We need truth. We need reality. We need real truth, and we'll never get it from the GOV. This is setting a very dangerous precedent. Okay, if it is okay for us to go to a sovereign nation and steal their wealth, then what is to say China will not go to Taiwan and steal their wealth? Or Russia, who has been very held back in this war, just go ahead and go max on Ukraine, okay, which we just funded for another 15 years, which we are supposed to be stopping in case any of you forgot. Okay, what is to stop our greatest ally to go max on all the people they're going max on? And that brings me to my next point, Somaliland. I don't know if many of you know about Somaliland. Maybe you should look it up. But it is an annexed area that our greatest ally has decided is its own state nation. It's its own place. And that's where the Palestinian people will be sent to, and there's no choice in the matter. So it is all due to the greatest ally project, and we're having self-censor here. Great free speech going good, and it just sets a very dangerous precedent for the world, and we should all be paying attention to that. Not only does this set a bad precedent for the world, but it also sets a bad precedent for ourselves, and that's what we should be defending, correct? Am I right on this so far? Let me know. But if anyone is to think that this is not going to turn around on us, it is. It's going to. History tells us this. It's important that these books back here are read, okay? They're not just decorations, they're read, okay? Because what we have found out through the DCIA is that our GOV lies. That's all they're going to do to us. They're never going to give us truth. They're never going to give us disclosure. They're never going to give us facts. And we need to make peace with that and decide that us as a people are going to come together as citizen journalists and the like, internet sleuths, whatever you want to call it, whatever label you want to give it. The people have to come together to fight this tyranny, this taxation at which is theft, this all of it that is going overseas to help other places. Do you know how expensive this Venezuelan attack had to be? I can't even fathom the number. Okay, Yes, we hear about how great our military did, and I don't doubt that. We hear about also our troops and all of our equipment making it home safely. What about the Venezuelan people? How did they how did they turn out with this? Just a question. Just noticing. This has been a buildup since the Iraq War and Afghanistan War. It really has. And any nation willing to come off the petrodollar because it's unstable is generally the next target. And that's exactly what Venezuela was doing. I am not defending Maduro. I am not saying he's a good guy. I don't know the guy. I don't live in Venezuela. I don't know the situation there. But what I do know is that we cannot set this precedent. We cannot allow this precedent to be set by the quote unquote leaders of the free world. And we need to be an example, lead by example. That's what Jesus wants us to do. Jesus never said because the end of the time is near or because evil is overrunning the world to stop doing what you're doing, to stop bringing people to him. That is our job. That is our mission on earth, is to bring people to God. And that is a very important mission that we have been given because it matters. This is not a left right versus issue. This is not a black, white, purple, orange, yellow, green, yellow, whatever, turquoise issue. This is an elite issue, evil issue versus the rest of us good issue. Evil versus good. Those are the issues here. And we all need to wake up to this realization because the sooner we do, the sooner we can unravel this prison that we're building for ourselves with the AI, with which I believe is a demonic body being created by people to have this demonic body live in and to influence us. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He is killing our families through this. He is killing our minds through this. He is stealing our families from us. He is stealing our spiritual feelings of what is good and what is evil, and he is destroying the world. Fighting on fighting on fighting. That's what's happening here. So people can be happy for the time being of, peace in Venezuela. But I'm telling you, the other shoe is going to drop, and it's going to drop hard. If we thought 2025's propaganda and Hasbra was bad, just wait, because the purchases are going through, and the button has been pushed, so to speak. Okay, they're all out for blood. They're all out for control. They're all out for, you know, power, power, power. And the only way to make them listen is financially. So I don't know what, like a tax strike? I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. But what I do know is that we need to come together and we need to figure one out, because it's going to be too late soon. It's going to be too late. The system is going to be so big and so rigged that none of us, we're all going to wake up and go, what happened? Whoa, what happened? How did this happen? This is how it's happening. This right here is how it's happening. And we have to wake up to that. Come together, people. Stop thinking that the neighbor is the enemy. The neighbor is not the enemy, okay? We have 90% more in common than we do difference, which leaves 10% difference. If we cannot find common ground on that 90%, then we are screwed. I'm just going to say it. We are screwed. Iran is a very strong nation. They are a strong people. They are a lot of things. And that's a lot around the world, and thanks to our CAI. So, CAI. Um, and they've armed, they've trained, and they've financed. So we need to think about that in context. Who is on the ground with the people? Okay, we've got our CIA agents, we've got our Mossad agents, we've got our intel agents. And I'm sorry, if I can hear the thunder and I can see the raindrops on the window and an agent tells me it's raining outside, guess what I'm still going to do? I'm going to look. Because guess what? That's their job. They lie, they manipulate, they cheat, they do everything they can. Plausible deniability. They MK extra people to do these things that they don't even know they're doing. They do all sorts of evil things that people really need to be aware of, because the world is being run by evil right now. We have to understand that. We have to realize that. We have to understand and come together. We just have to. I mean, there's no other way. My advice would be to do your due diligence as a citizen of this country and look these things up. Look up what Trump just added to the Monroe Doctrine. Look up the Sampson option in Our Greatest Allies Nation. Look up a lot of the financials of these things and where they lead, because following the money always leads you to the answer. Not always, but 99.9999999% of the time, it leads you to the answers. So we really should be digging into that type of stuff. And as far as the Fort Huachuca issue goes, okay, let's think about this. The USA is one of the number one exporters of young things, and given off to the highest bidder. This fort that everybody's going crazy about is located directly on the border. This is where Arc Francois has a DoD contract at. This particular fort is known for psyoping with mostly truths, 10% lie. What does that remind you of? Who else does that? Sit with that for a second. Who else does that? Satan does that. Satan does that. He'll tell you, oh, mostly truths, until you understand that the lie was slipped in. And because you could verify this, that, and the other, you believed the lie. And that's what they teach. 12,000 people, foreign and domestic, every single year. Every single year. That's their specialty. So to say that it has nothing to do with any of this is just bonkers to me. It seems inorganic, to say the least. And it seems, everybody's focused on Mitch Snow. Okay, let's not focus on Mitch Snow. Let's focus on the real story at hand. Is what he said true or not? Because these are important things. They are all connected. Charlie was the only one against the bunker busting in Iran, and probably would not have been great with this one either. And as Baron Coleman said, and I'm not knocking Charlie because he was important to the people, which is more important than being important to the government. He had the people's ear. And going into the Oval Office and telling these two leaders of the world that this is a bad idea probably didn't rub them the right way. Probably didn't rub them the right way. And they thought, you know what? You know what's going to be the easiest thing to do? Just get rid of him. Just get rid of him, The influence won't be there. He can't go influence on his own podcast. He can't go talking about what he's seen on the inside. He can't do this, that, and the other. So you have to ask yourself when things like Dan Bongino is uh, let go to go back to his podcasting, which we'll wait and see. Prayers for that as well. But that psyops with mostly truth happen. Okay? And we all need to be aware of that. So I hope that all of these things, when you go looking for yourself, start to make a connection. There is a trainer of this specific program at this specific base, whose name slips me at the moment, who is also a board member of TPUSA. If you go look at my exes and YouTube's, I've got pictures and things like that up. Baron Coleman does a really good breakdown, and actually Trigger Smart does the greatest breakdown of what this fort is actually about. It's right on the border. They have known on record cases of small people misuse, if you will. So this is something that she's not addressed. Erica, we know you're lying. Okay? Erica, we know you're lying. No one can replace your husband except JD Vance. JD Vance, he's such a good guy. He's a great guy. Peter Thiel guy. That's who he is. He's a Peter Thiel guy who's changed his name multiple times. Why? I don't know. But I just find it strange that all these people, normal people like me and you, don't change our names. I don't know. I'm just asking questions and I'm just noticing. Netanyahu, same thing. Benjamin Malakovsky, that's his name. That's his name. That's his real name. As far as I can find, that's his real true name. So we need to really start asking ourselves, what kind of company is 2PUSA? What has it always been? What did Charlie find out? And what is happening in this world? We were promised one thing, we were given another. That's normal. I understand that's normal. I understand that's politics. But we are demanding something different. We are demanding something new. We are demanding that the government work for the people again, that the government at least take into consideration our thoughts and our feelings on how our nation should be run with our money. Jimmy Dore did a great breakdown of this, along with many other citizen journalists that are doing great things for this cause. Anti-war, anti-gov, we're not being told the truth on this latest situation. Just give us the truth. Just give us the truth. We're not being told the truth on anything that we were promised the truth on. And this creates vast amounts of enemies. And I don't want to see that for our country. I don't want to see that for any country or any people. I just think that dollars are what count to people, these people, and that's all we are to them. Or we're paying to work the job. We're paying to live in the house that we own. We are paying for the property that we own. We are paying for the cars that we own. We are paying for each and every single item that we buy just to what? Send overseas and make other nations great again? Seems like that's what's happening to me. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about this all, guys, because I smile because I have nothing else to do. It's madness. These are globalists. These are people with self-interests. These are people that do not relate to us. They do not relate to the fact that when we're at the grocery store, we may have to put back a few items because we can't afford the entire thing, or what a loaf of bread even costs. The Nicki Minaj and Erica Kirk thing is just like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I couldn't even watch it twice. It made me so angry. Those two women have never experienced anything that you and I experienced, that me and you have ever experienced. So For them to sit up there and act holier than thou, even though they're lying through their teeth, their perfectly curated teeth, um, it's all icky. It's all icky, and I'm going to agree with Candace on that. It's all icky. If you have a soul who belongs to Christ, it's icky. It feels icky to have a tent outside of your Amfest with 33 stars. Not that that means anything or anything, you guys. Not that that means anything. I'm just saying 33 stars. Okay, so all these sick things, all these non-alibis, all these connections, all these military ties at TPUSA. Was Charlie aware? Was Charlie not aware? I don't know. Let's just figure it all out, because no one from the administration is ever going to tell us anything. It's up to us. And it always has been, because the government is supposed to belong to us. So the DCIA is doing a much better job than the actual. So good on you, Candace. Good on you.